California is no stranger to fire. For centuries, fires have been a natural part of the state's ecosystem, playing a crucial role in maintaining the health of its forests and grasslands. Indigenous peoples even used controlled burns to manage the land and encourage new growth. It's baked into the landscape, a natural part of its cycle. The dry summers and wet winters create the perfect conditions for fires to spark and spread. Historically, these fires would clear out dead vegetation, making way for new life. But in recent years, the fires have become something different. They are no longer the manageable, beneficial blazes of the past. Instead, they have transformed into monstrous infernos that threaten lives, property, and entire ecosystems. They're bigger, hotter, and more frequent. The intensity and scale of these fires are unprecedented, leaving firefighters and communities struggling to keep up. The images are hard to forget: walls of flame devouring hillsides, skies choked with smoke, communities reduced to ash. The devastation is not just physical but emotional, as families lose their homes and memories in the blink of an eye. These aren't just wildfires, they're mega fires fueled by a complex mix of immediate causes and long-term trends. Understanding these factors is crucial to addressing the problem and finding solutions. To understand how these fires start, we need to look at both the immediate triggers and the deeper roots of the problem. What sparks these infernos? Is it purely natural causes, or is human activity playing a significant role? The answers are rarely simple. Often, it's a combination of factors that create the perfect storm for a wildfire to ignite and spread uncontrollably. Sometimes it's a careless act, a spark from a power line, or even arson. These immediate causes can be devastating, but they are just the tip of the iceberg. But these immediate causes are often playing out against a backdrop of conditions primed for disaster. The landscape is a tinderbox, waiting for a single spark to set it ablaze. Years of drought have turned vegetation into tinder. The lack of water has left plants dry and brittle, making them highly flammable. Climate change is making the state hotter and drier, extending the fire season. Higher temperatures and prolonged droughts create the perfect conditions for wildfires to ignite and spread rapidly. And as more people move into fire-prone areas, the stakes only get higher. The expansion of communities into these vulnerable regions means that more lives and properties are at risk when a wildfire breaks out. The challenge is immense, but understanding the problem is the first step towards finding a solution. California is a land of extremes, swinging between periods of drought and deluge. But in recent years, the pendulum has swung decisively toward drought. Years of below-average rainfall have parched the land, turning once lush vegetation into brittle kindling. This dry brush is the perfect fuel for wildfires. It ignites easily, burns intensely, and can quickly spread flames across vast distances. The drought's impact goes beyond just drying out vegetation. It also weakens trees, making them more susceptible to disease and insect infestations. These weakened trees are more likely to die and become standing dead fuel, further increasing the risk of intense wildfires. Rivers and streams starved of water run low, limiting the resources available for firefighting. The drought creates a perfect storm of conditions, setting the stage for fires to ignite and spread with terrifying speed. California is also known for its winds, particularly the Santa Ana winds that roar down from the mountains in the fall. These dry, powerful winds can reach hurricane force, fanning even the smallest spark into a raging inferno. They act like giant bellows, pushing flames across the landscape and spreading embers far and wide. Embers carried by the wind can ignite spot fires miles away from the main blaze, creating new fires that are difficult to contain. The Santa Ana winds are particularly dangerous because they can rapidly change direction and intensity, making it difficult for firefighters to predict fire behavior. The combination of dry vegetation, strong winds, and steep terrain creates a perfect recipe for catastrophic wildfires. These winds, once a natural part of the ecosystem, are now a major threat, turning manageable fires into unstoppable infernos. Section 4. Sparks of human origin. While natural factors like drought and wind play a significant role in wildfires, human activity is often the spark that ignites the blaze. The combination of dry conditions and strong winds creates a perfect storm for wildfires to spread rapidly. These natural elements set the stage, but it is human actions that often provide the initial spark. Nearly 90% of wildfires in the United States are caused by humans, whether through carelessness, negligence, or arson. A campfire left unattended, a discarded cigarette butt, or even a small spark from a vehicle can lead to devastating consequences. The simple act of tossing a cigarette out of a car window can result in a massive wildfire that destroys thousands of acres of forest and threatens homes and lives. Or a spark from a lawnmower can quickly escalate into a raging inferno, especially in dry conditions. Lawn equipment, such as mowers and trimmers, can generate sparks that ignite dry grass and leaves. These small fires can grow rapidly, fueled by dry vegetation and wind, turning into uncontrollable wildfires that spread across vast areas. Arson is another significant cause of wildfires, with individuals intentionally setting fires for various reasons, including vandalism, revenge, or profit. Arsonists may target specific areas to cause maximum damage, knowing that dry conditions will help the fire spread quickly. The aftermath of such intentional acts can be devastating, leaving communities to deal with the loss of property, natural resources, and sometimes even lives. Even seemingly harmless activities like using fireworks can have catastrophic consequences. Fireworks are a common cause of wildfires, especially during celebrations like the 4th of July. When used in dry areas, the sparks from fireworks can easily ignite brush and grass, leading to fast-spreading fires that are difficult to control. Or operating machinery with internal combustion engines can ignite dry vegetation and spark a wildfire. Construction equipment, vehicles, and other machinery can produce sparks that, in the right conditions, can start a fire. Regular maintenance and proper use of such equipment are crucial in preventing accidental ignitions. The increase in human activity in and around wildland-urban interface areas, where homes are built near forests and brush, further exacerbates the risk of human-caused wildfires. As more people move into these areas, the likelihood of accidental ignitions rises. Activities such as barbecuing, using power tools, and even driving vehicles can inadvertently start fires. As more people live in these areas, the potential for accidental ignitions increases dramatically. Communities must be aware of the risks and take proactive measures to prevent wildfires. This includes creating defensible space around homes, following fire safety guidelines, and being vigilant about activities that could start a fire. By understanding the human factors that contribute to wildfires, we can work together to reduce their occurrence and protect our environment and communities. Section 5. Climate change. The long shadow. While immediate causes like drought, wind, and human activity are the sparks that ignite wildfires, the underlying conditions that make these fires so devastating are deeply rooted in climate change. Climate change is the long shadow looming over California's fire problem, casting a dark and persistent influence that exacerbates every aspect of wildfire behavior. As global temperatures rise, California is experiencing hotter, drier conditions which create a perfect storm for wildfires. The heat waves are becoming more frequent and intense, drying out the landscape and making it more susceptible to ignition. This leads to a longer fire season and more intense wildfires, putting immense pressure on firefighting resources and communities. Firefighters are battling blazes that are larger and more ferocious than ever before, often stretching their capabilities to the limit. The state's average temperature has increased by about 3 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century, a seemingly small change that has profound effects on the environment. This warming trend is not just a statistic. It translates into real-world consequences that affect every Californian. Precipitation patterns are becoming more erratic, with longer periods of drought punctuated by intense rainfall. This inconsistency in weather patterns makes it difficult for ecosystems to adapt, further stressing the natural landscape. These longer periods of drought dry out vegetation, making it more flammable, while the intense rainfall can lead to rapid growth of plants that later become fuel for fires. The cycle of drought and deluge creates a volatile environment where wildfires can thrive. This warming trend exacerbates drought conditions, dries out vegetation, and creates ideal conditions for wildfires to ignite and spread. The parched earth and withered plants are a testament to the severity of the situation. Wildfires can spread rapidly under these conditions, turning small sparks into raging infernos that consume everything in their path. The flames engulf dry vegetation with alarming speed, leaving little time for intervention. The hotter, drier climate also stresses trees, making them more susceptible to disease and insect infestations. These weakened trees can easily catch fire, adding more fuel to the wildfires. Insect infestations and diseases further weaken the trees, creating a vicious cycle where stressed vegetation becomes more flammable, and the resulting fires further stress the ecosystem. This can further fuel wildfires as the diseased and insect-ridden trees become tinder for the flames. The burning branches and falling debris contribute to the spread of the fire, making it even more difficult to control. Climate change is not just a future threat. It's a present reality that's already amplifying the frequency and intensity of California's wildfires. The effects of global warming are visible in the landscape and in the increasing number of wildfires that ravage the state each year. It's a present reality that's already amplifying the frequency and intensity of California's wildfires. The state is facing a new normal where wildfires are not just seasonal events, but year-round threats, demanding urgent action and adaptation strategies.